Well, how about that tornado we saw last night up there in Oklahoma? Boy, that thing was gnarly. That was a huge tornado. I've seen lots of pictures and lots of video of it. Fortunately, it remained over mostly rural parts of Jackson County. I think there might have been a couple homes that they were hit. No injuries or fatalities reported with that, which is definitely good news. But certainly the tornado season 2024 remembers to be continues to be historic in some areas. Of course, down here in Northwest Texas where we are, and further to the east, still not a lot of action so far this year, but not quite over with yet. We got severe weather chances coming in, maybe on Saturday. We'll have to see. Tomorrow is not a slam dunk by any means. Tomorrow is hard. I hate the kind of forecast that heads our way tomorrow. It's real hard to make a decision on whether or not we'll see storms, and it may be a situation where we won't even know for sure until we get into tomorrow. So, but be weather aware on Saturday. If we look outside right now, though, thunderstorms down there, close to I-35. Nothing like it was yesterday. These are mostly going to be hail-producing storms, perhaps impacting parts of Fort Worth and Dallas and maybe areas along and east of I-35. And then later on tonight, this will become more of a larger area storm as it moves well off to the south and to the southeast. And then those will kind of go away. And the front that's responsible for these storms by tomorrow morning will begin to back up as a warm front. If we take a look now at some weather information for tomorrow, that's what we want to do. I'm going to start with looking, and I don't normally do this. I usually don't show convective outlooks from the Storm Prediction Center. I usually do my own thing, but I'm not at the station, so I have a harder time doing that right now than I would if I were at the station. I don't have a graphic system that I can create polygons with. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull in some information here. So this is where we're going to start at. This is the Storm Prediction Center for tomorrow. If you take a look in here, you'll see that we have this big red area, which is a level 4 moderate risk from the Storm Prediction Center that covers central southern Kansas all the way through much of central and maybe even into southern Oklahoma. It would go as far south maybe as the Lawton area, maybe down to the Red River northward, and then below that you got the level 3 enhanced risk. I actually believe that this is going to be correct. I think this is a pretty good risk area. But I do want to say the way the parameters set up tomorrow, that any storm that could develop would produce major severe weather in Texas and in Oklahoma. But again, the question is, will we get storms? There's some weather information that says yes, others says no. But the ones that say no haven't been doing particularly well lately. Forecasting until you get kind of into the event or close to the event. Other weather information historically can be a little off too, but it's been pretty consistent with showing some stuff. So let's kind of dig into that. Again, I absolutely hate these kind of forecasts. I'd rather us just not see anything at all than have to deal with this. This is a hard forecast, and if something happens, we get something wrong with this, and we do get a storm, then we're in trouble. So I'm going to show you the do's versus the don't first. This is the afternoon run of the 3 kilometer NAM computer models, and we're going to start by looking at what we call significant tornado parameter here. So this is going to be something that just kind of shows what the atmosphere might look like tomorrow afternoon and evening. An atmosphere that would be ripe for tornadic development. Here we are in the afternoon, and you notice those significant tornado parameters increasing there, Oklahoma, and across parts of North Texas. Now, you do see a hole there across the west just because it's producing storms over there by early to mid-afternoon. And then you get some perhaps going tomorrow evening, tomorrow night up there in northwest Oklahoma. Very humid air mass, tropical-like, a lot of storm energy developing in there, overlapping strong, what we call wind shear, and just the environment is pretty significant for tornadic activity if we get storms. I think the limiting factor here, though, it remains there's not a lot of what we call forcing in the area. To get thunderstorms to develop, you need rising air. And the main way that that air rises is with the storm system pushing into the area, and that helps to weaken the cap and allow the atmosphere to lift up. It's called forcing. It forces the air up. Well, tomorrow, that greatest forcing is north of us, up there into Kansas and Oklahoma, mostly in Kansas. And there's not very much of it down our way. So what we have to rely on to get our storms here would be a dry line combined with a lot of warm, unstable air developing across the area in the afternoon. So there's the NAM. It shows those storms trying to develop Then it kind of shifts them south down, and I don't know that that's going to happen. Then it shows other storms developing further north during the afternoon and the evening. Now, I will say this: those storms, the most consistent signals to me for severe weather tomorrow have been up here in Kansas and central Oklahoma. That's where I feel like the outbreak is going to be, is up there. I'm talking about Oklahoma City, northward into southern parts of Kansas. Supercells are going to produce significant tornadoes. I mean, supercells that get going could produce those, and since there's not a lot of them, long-lasting, violent tornadoes possible there, central and northern Oklahoma into southern Kansas. That's the most probable area for it. Down our way, it's more conditional. Again, it would be, if we get storms, they could be very strong. They could produce huge hail and tornadoes here too. But the most consistent signal for storms has been to our north. I can show you that in the HRRR computer model. This is the HRRR, the afternoon run. That's storms from earlier today. And you can see those storms pretty much every run of the NAM since last night around midnight. Excuse me, the HRRR ever since last night around midnight. I've shown these storms up here in Oklahoma and Kansas. So those would be significant tornado producers there, central and eastern Oklahoma. That's where it's been this year, and that's typically where it's at. I don't believe any of the other runs are going to go out quite far enough. Yeah, it only goes out to tomorrow morning. We can take a look at some of these other computer models. Here's the RRFS, and it's probably not going to go out far enough yet either. So, and it hasn't been having any storms develop. These are what we call cams. This is what radar might look like. Here's another one, just showing you the various runs, showing you what things are looking like. See, now this computer model has storms down, and it's been consistent too. Does break the cap down here in North Texas. It kind of lines up with that NAM. So this is what I'm talking about. This is what makes it real difficult. You know that the atmosphere is present to produce big severe weather tomorrow if you get storms. You know you've got a dry line in the area. You know you've got a little cap, but not much. You know you don't see the main forcing, which is away from us. Typically speaking, most of the severe weather in this type of a scenario stays north of us up into Kansas and Oklahoma. But I cannot ignore the fact that there is a loaded atmosphere. We call it a powder keg, meaning that it's a lot of storm energy combined with strong low-level and mid-level wind shear. So any storm that can develop will rotate, and it'll rotate fast, and it'll produce big hail and tornadoes quickly. And since you're not seeing a lot of storms out there, they have a potential to produce longer, stronger, lasting tornadoes across the area. And again, it's conditional. Some weather information suggests that the dry line will be enough to overcome the cap down our way, given the intense amount of moisture and heating we have in the area. Other weather information says, no, it probably not. There's a cap down there, so we're going to go with the more likely area. So I still like the area, central northern Oklahoma up into Kansas, but I'm not going to ignore our area. There is a chance that tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening we can see a couple supercell thunderstorms interacting with a volatile atmosphere. And by volatile, I mean large hail, very large hail, strong wind gusts, and especially with the dominant supercell, strong tornadoes would be possible that could last for quite a while. So we're going to be keeping a close eye on this to see how all this plays out. So here's what I want you to do tomorrow. If you are in the area, I'm talking about anywhere Kansas, Oklahoma, or into North Texas, I want you guys to just go about your day fine. No issues for graduation in the morning. No issues lunchtime. No issues early afternoon. But after 3 or 4 o'clock, I want you to continue to keep up to date on what's going on with the weather, okay? I know we got graduation parties taking place tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night. So, I want you guys to, not cancel those plans because what we're seeing here is not widespread storms. It's only a few, which means that these would be a situation where not everybody gets a storm. But if you do get one, it could be really, really nasty. Just be ready to take action and get to your safe spot if a storm approaches your area. I'm telling you, folks, if we get one tomorrow, it could be really, really bad. So, again, especially if we get into the evening and we're getting storms interacting with the increasing wind shear. So, it's a hard forecast. I'm gonna continue to stick with that. It is a hard forecast because the forecast is, it is missing. Remember, I always say the don'ts usually outweigh the do's, but, I can't ignore what we do have in place. So what we do have in place is we have a lot of CAPE, a lot of instability developing, a lot of low-level moisture, tropical light moisture increasing. We've got strong winds throughout all levels of the atmosphere. Those are the things we have going for us. Plus, there's a dry line in the area. Will that be enough to overcome a little bit of a cap and a lack of what we call large-scale storm forcing? So, it's hard to say at this point in time. I think that there is at least a chance that we're going to get one or two isolated storms down our way. Now, don't be surprised if it stays north of us, but there is a chance that something could pop down our way. I do agree with the Storm Prediction Center's moderate risk there in Kansas. I think that's the most likely area down into central Oklahoma. I think that if we get storms down into central and southern Oklahoma, North Texas, they could really be bad. I think they could be more intense here than up north, but possibility that there could be a tornado outbreak tomorrow if we wind up getting enough storms. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Storm Prediction Center go high risk for Kansas and parts of Oklahoma tomorrow. But if some of these weather models that are coming in with supercells down our way continue, we'll at least get down here and see an upper end risk here too. If I had to draw a risk, and you know me, I like to draw my own risk, I probably would have only gone with, probably what the Storm Prediction Center has, most likely. I probably wouldn't have, strayed much from there. But anyway. That's really all I have. I know it's middle of the afternoon, but I really was hoping more people would join us than this because it's tomorrow is a day. A lot of people got a lot going on. Saturday, Memorial Day weekend, and we just need to be weather aware tomorrow. Please, 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 please. Have a trusted source of weather, a trusted source for you to get weather information. Have ways to make sure that you can get to safe areas. If you do have a graduation party tomorrow night you're attending or you're going to be hosting, make sure you have a place for your people to go just in case it does happen. I'm not encouraging people to cancel their plans for tomorrow evening. I'm just saying you need to be watching it very closely. Now, if I do an update here tomorrow and I say it looks really bad here, and I may encourage you to postpone your events. Because the last thing we want is a large gathering and then for something bad to happen. So, but right now I'm not going to say you do that. Because most of us probably won't even see a storm. All right, yeah, I'll probably will. I'll update again when we get the evening information coming in. And like I say before, it's real difficult because a lot of what our weather information that we have, is kind of a bit back and forth a bit. If you go on the HRRR computer model, which is usually a pretty good one, but it hasn't been great as of late. It's been off. Like it didn't even show the storms forming there in southwest Oklahoma until I think it was the middle of yesterday afternoon. It took it a while to pick up on that. The NAM model kind of showed that. So Amarillo will be fine. You will be well west of all of everything, Candace. So I do appreciate you guys. I'm disappointed we didn't have any more viewers than we had, but I understand that, the way Facebook is now, they don't throw notifications out like they used to. So it'll be on my page. You can go back and watch it if you want to and you need to and get that information. But I will have another update coming up later on tonight. And, yeah, Wilbarger County is included in on this. But Wilbarger County is kind of on the edge of it. But, yeah, definitely Wilbarger County needs to watch tomorrow too. So. All right. Well, Decatur, Azle, it's possible, but I think that most of it's going to be west of you. But it is possible. Don't let your guard down tomorrow. Most of the worst of it's probably going to be centered west of you there, but just keep an eye on it there, Jerry. Plus, there's some storms over your way now, but they're not. They're just hail producers out there right now, so I think you'll be all right. Amanda, my gut really doesn't really have a feeling at this point in time. My gut always tells me this is going to be Oklahoma and Kansas. But I can't ignore some of the signals down here, so I can't really rule us out. I just can't do it. But I just know what usually happens in these situations. It's usually up there in Oklahoma and Kansas. And we usually don't even get a drop of rain down our way. But it's a close call, so we really need to keep our guard up for tomorrow. This particular computer model, this is one of those special new NSSL runs. They're experimental, but sometimes they can be pretty accurate. Sometimes they can be off, so we'll just keep an eye on it and see what happens. All right, everybody, I'm going to jump off here, and I'll have another update later on this evening. Y'all have a great evening.